Good evening. My name is Tony Pagliacco, and I'm running for National President of Omega Delta Phi. This is episode 14 in my video web series, and if this is your first time watching, the reason why I make these videos is because I want to be able to answer questions from brothers about my campaign, and I also want to talk about challenges we're facing as a brotherhood. Today we're going to talk about a very important subject that I'm sure my fellow candidates are going to be talking about also. Subject is risk management. Now, for those of you that either have or haven't been following the news, there was an incident recently at Oklahoma University, where the brothers of Sigma Alpha Epsilon, another fraternity, decided that this video that I'm going to show you now was a good representation of their brotherhood. I will warn you, there is graphic language and it is very offensive to listen to.
Sing. There'll never be a nigger I sing. There'll never be a nigger I sing. You're hanging from a tree, but don't never talk to me. There'll never be a nigger.
Pretty disgusting, huh? I think it's absolutely deplorable. Any organization that thinks that kind of behavior is acceptable or funny is an organization that I would never want to be a part of. We as Knights of Omega Delta Phi, we are better than that. We strive to be better than that every day in our lives. We hold ourselves to a higher standard. We understand the principles of our sacraments and why they're so important to us. But this does bring up the issue of risk management. The last thing we need for any chapter or a national organization is this. We do not need to be on the cover of CNN for something like this. We should be celebrated on the cover of a CNN for the good that we do for the community, for the good that we do for our brothers, for our academic records, for our service records. But it does come back to risk management. And this is something that we need to really focus on and look at updating as we continue to grow and we have more opportunities to expose risk and liability. It's an important subject and it's one that needs to be addressed. Now, at its core, risk management is handling chapter business in a manner which focuses on having concern for the safety and well-being of our brothers and everyone who associates with us. Parties, events, things like that. We're responsible for that because they're in our house, they're in our event. Members need to take personal responsibility for their actions to help protect our brotherhood. By having this risk management mindset, it's going to allow us to prevent, avoid, and minimize a lot of these problems before they even occur. Risk is something that has to be managed or controlled because it cannot be eliminated. You've accepted the important responsibility that is risk management by being a brother of Omega Delta Phi. And as a Knight of OD Phi, you must help your chapter understand how important it is for every member to be concerned with risk management. Everyone has to use good common sense and take steps to manage the risks that are just inherent in everyday chapter life. Now, as a brotherhood, I feel that we need to employ a policy based on preparation and education to protect our brotherhood. I feel that we need a more robust library of chapter policy risk management guides, and we need them accessible to all brothers. There are tools and documents in place that are pretty standard in a lot of other Greek organizations that we either currently don't have or they're not easily accessible. Things like event guideline documents, security documents, liability agreements, incident reports. My personal favorite is going to be training videos, which I think would be a great tool for every chapter to use. But these are all things that should be accessible and widely promoted. Now, only by using Google was I able to find a copy of a national risk management presentation we did back in January 2013. This is something that has to be more accessible because the PowerPoint presentation was actually really great and it covered a lot of information. But it should be something that should be out there ready for us to be able to digest. We need to make sure we're doing proper education, providing proper tools and documents, and making sure the management of these are being proactively monitored. Essentially, the national board should hold the chapter leadership accountable for educating its chapter members at least once a semester, and the chapter should be holding nationals accountable to make sure they have the proper tools to do so. By conducting these educational sessions to your brothers, you are reinforcing the risk management mindset that will help keep your chapter safe, your national organization safe, and the OD5 reputation safe. Now, it's really only then that we can work in synergy to be able to be there for one and the other in the event something tragic should happen. Now, when I talk about all this documentation, I truly hope we never have to use them, but they need to be there just in case. Things like hazing, racism, substance abuse, sexual assault. They're all real problems today, and they have no place in OD5. No place at all. We are not SAE. We have never been SAE, and we never will be. That being said, things happen and we need to be prepared to protect the integrity of our brotherhood. So those are my thoughts on risk management. I'd be happy to discuss it more if you have questions or concerns or comments about my thoughts on this, but it really is an important subject that needs to be talked about. Now, for the most part, we have a strong brotherhood. We have men of integrity. We follow our sacraments. I don't feel that we'd ever be in this situation. But sometimes things happen and we need to protect our brotherhood. So that was a tough subject tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. And if you have any comments, questions, or you have a question you want answered in a future video, please just go to my website, tonyp2015.com. I'm always accessible to talk to brothers, talk to chapters, alumni associations, whoever, whenever. Outside of that, thank you very much again for taking the time to watch this video, and have a great night.